Welcome back to another edition of the Call Up Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kenny. And this is the show where we take your favorite superstar, get them outside of the ring, and get to know them a little bit better. This week, I am joined by Joe Harrison. What is going on, man?
Not much, man. How you been?
Not bad, not bad. You know, living that New York life, trying to stay busy, getting through COVID. You know, it seems everything's starting to get back to normal. So how are you holding up through this whole pandemic?
Going a little stir crazy. Unfortunately, I just contracted COVID.
Oh man,
I'm on the up and up though, thankfully. My mom currently has it. She's in the middle of her COVID battle, but hopefully, you know, she's on the mend. She's a very stubborn woman, so she's not going down without a fight. You know, so she'll be healthy before I know it.
Thank you, Daddy.
On the wrestling side of things, it's been a very weird time. I mainly wrestle in the Carolinas, so COVID has affected the crowd drastically. I wrestle mainly for a company called PWF, and they've done no crowd shows. We've done filming for IWTV and stuff like that, and it's been a very weird but fun learning experience to wrestle without a crowd.
So does it normally just take you back to like when you first started, you know, with like wrestling and wise, as far as like when you started training and you had to do a lot of like these practice matches with just the people in the school itself? So does it feel like that way all over again, or is it just like a whole nother experience?
Yes and no. Yes, the point where, you know, there are just a few people there, you know, like the film crew and students are just there. So you have a little bit to bounce off of, but you also have people telling you to work the camera more. So we're focusing on kind of like what WWE is doing. Like, granted, they have the Thunderdome, but they're playing to that camera audience more, you know, because, you know, they're looking right at it. So that's what we're being taught by. Sometimes we have visitors there, and also just veterans telling us, hey, you know, make sure you play it to the camera. Make sure you let, you know, the camera guy or camera girl know certain spots are coming up, so they know what to capture and when to capture it.
Okay, that's interesting, because I've always wondered, like, how's that feeling of just like having like nobody there? Because I know for like, you know, for talent, you guys like go off of us, the fans, as far as like where our reactions are. So like to have like no sound, no crowd noise, or like, you know, it's kind of hard wondering like whether or not like it's like what you're doing is actually working.
Right.
I know a lot of, you know, talent, say from like, you know, like AEW and like WWE, they said that it was a hard adjustment at first, and then they kind of got used to it. I mean, it's been a year now, so, you know, they've kind of like just worked with what they had.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. And speaking of WWE, AEW, I think some characters have flourished because of the pandemic surroundings, because I felt like a lot of wrestlers have taken creative risks, and they may not necessarily get the instant feedback like you were saying, like a crowd, but I don't know. I feel like, you know, say what you want about certain products being out there, some of these performers on TV have, well, say Bayley, for instance, Sasha Banks, Zelina Vega when she was on TV, MVP, The Hurt Business. I feel like the pandemic era has Drew McIntyre, another one, have truly helped them like just develop these characters and just gotten comfortable with what their roles are.
So how do you feel like through this whole pandemic? Like, how do you feel your character has changed? Has it changed? Has it upgraded in a way?
It's still very weird for me, because a couple months ago I did wrestle in front of a crowd for the first time in over a year, and there is no pun intended, no comparison to wrestling in front of a crowd than in front of the no fan shows. But I've noticed with the no fans, it has allowed me, I don't know, maybe I feel more comfortable taking like more risks, like, oh, this would be so stupid, but this makes me pop, you know, or it pops the boys, or it's funny. So like I'm more willing to do stupid stuff because I think it's funny, and I may not get the instant reaction, but when the video gets released on YouTube, Twitch, and whatnot, people respond to it and they seem to take kindly of it. And also, I noticed that my in-ring work has gotten a little bit better, because even though I want that instant reaction, I noticed that I'm not so worried about it, because obviously it's not there. So now I'm used to it. So I'm not going, oh, I just screwed up this move or whatever. Like I feel like I've gotten more fluid. You know, I'm a very basic wrestler. I don't do crazy stuff. I can't do it, you know, just to be honest. So I'm more ground and pound technician. And I think my craft has actually gotten better from a technical standpoint.
Now, one of the things that I love about your character is your promos. So your promo videos is like one of the, because I've seen you you wrestle, which, you know, is great. You definitely have, you know, like some good in-ring, but I have to say your promos are like, they always get me all the time. And then what's great about it is like sometimes like you have your mom on there, so it's just like, you know, you get that support from home. So like how did you get your mom to like actually come on these promos with you?
So excuse me. So I was doing videos pre-pandemic with a character named Camera Girl, and her gimmick was she would always zoom in on inappropriate parts of me. We'll keep it PG. And she always had these one-liners and these zingers, and people really liked her character. They never saw her, but they became fans of her despite never seeing her, because they just liked her being stupid, you know, stupid funny, of course. So then when the pandemic started last year, I wanted to create content because we weren't doing anything. You know, there was no shows going on or anything. So I decided to do the Joe Show. And then I was growing out my beard, and my mom always had these comments about, you better shave that, da, da, da. And I was like, that would be really funny to have my mom as a voice to do these videos and basically be herself to an extent, somewhat exaggerated, but not so much, even though she likes to think it's an exaggerated version of herself. That's she truly is a very sassy woman. So it's very funny. Like I'll pitch an idea to her and she's like, are you sure that's funny? Like, do people really think that's funny? Like, I don't know if I want to say that. I'm like, Mom, this is how you usually talk. So why are you acting like you're an angel? You know, like, and it's so funny. She'll say the stuff and she'll be like, oh, I don't know if that's going to be funny or not. And meanwhile, it's funnier, you know, than she can imagine, you know? So like, and it's great because I get constant feedback, like from yourself. People love it, you know, and it's great that, you know, she's part of the gimmick now, and it's just fun. So to go back to like, has the pandemic helped me character wise? It's definitely helped me with that, because it just made things fun, because, you know, like everybody's doing videos and stuff, but I like to think that like not everybody's willing to make themselves look so stupid. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, but it's all about entertainment, and you're definitely like, you know, your videos do entertain people, you know, and that's like the good thing. You don't want something that's just going to be like super serious. You know, with the world going on right now, everybody wants a good laugh or to, you know, enjoy something like that. So like definitely like your promos do, you know, make people, you know, laugh, and it's enjoyable, you know, and then it wants them to like know more, you know. So like, so that's why when we had this opportunity to talk, I was just like, I definitely wanted to know a little bit more about like the promo work that you've done. And then like, basically like I've seen like other promos where you like did almost like stories when it came to like who you were wrestling. So it was just like, okay. So I was like, okay, so he really takes his time, like, you know, getting these promos together, and not just like, I'm going to grab my camera or my phone and shoot something really quick and then just throw it out there just to throw it out there.
Yeah, and I try to, and that's the good and bad part is like I wish my brain like worked constantly where I was like, okay, I'm gonna pump out these promos, but then I'm like, okay, I do a promo, and then I'm like, I need to follow it up, but I need it to be good. Like the OMG NWO parody video, like that literally came to me at like 2 o'clock in the morning one day, and I was like, okay, I need to look up footage, I need to find music. I do this all on my phone. Like I don't I don't have like fancy editing equipment or a program or anything like that. So I literally like go, okay, how do I do this? Convert this? How do I convert that? How do I splice this video into that video? And then I do it. And I got a very great response to those NWO videos. And I'm very proud of them. I definitely look forward to doing more of those because, I mean, those were just so fun. And I was so proud of my creativeness. Like, I was like, hell yeah, you know?
I think we appreciate a little bit more when we do it when we have to do everything from our phone, because like for me, when I started this show, I did everything off my phone. I still do. You know, I do a lot of like my editing off my phone, whether it's, you know, talking to somebody or doing like promos for like, you know, like the IG page.
Hello.
And you know, and like my kids get involved too, as you can hear my son. No.
He's trying to take over the show.
Oh yeah. Oh, he loves to. So yeah. So you know, and then I just recently like upgraded everything to like a PC and like the laptop and stuff like that to like maybe get stuff a little bit more easier, like when I do interviews like this. So, when exactly did you decide you wanted to like get into pro wrestling?
Ever since I was a kid. I remember first grade, you know, they ask you that $1 million question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I had two options. I said superhero or wrestler. I had a plan for both. My plan for superhero was if I didn't develop any mutant powers or get bitten by a radioactive spider, my dad had a van. So instantly I thought, oh, I could be like the Punisher. We're in New York. I could just hit, you know, I could beat up bad guys and take their guns, and I'll have a van to store their guns, and then I'd take down bad guys. Then the other option was wrestling. I couldn't tell you what the first match I saw was. I just know my older cousin Tommy, who I still look up to as like a big brother, but especially then, like I idolized him, and he loved G.I. Joe and loved wrestling as kids. So I just remember him constantly renting WWF tapes, WCW tapes. He had like the bootleg cable box, so we watched wrestling all the time. He was like WWF growing up in New York, you know, that's the hotbed for it. So I didn't see WCW too much, unless it was like special events on TBS and stuff like that. But then as WCW grew, I started watching it more. But I mean, Hogan, Savage, Warrior, those were like Piper. Those were the icons for me when I was a kid. And then that passion and that love grew. I remember having lunch boxes. I had folders at school. I remember having Dusty Rhodes and Jake Roberts folders for my schoolwork, you know. And it just never stopped. My my collection grew. It didn't matter if it was a beachwear towel, a lighter, TV Guide magazine, whatever I could get my hands on that had a wrestler on it, I wanted it. I fell in love with it. I love it as much now as I did as a child. I mean, like I said, I couldn't tell you who and what was the first match, but I just knew it was love right away.
So, you know, you speak a little bit about just like collecting a lot of things that were, you know, wrestling. So what is your collection looking like now?
Too much. Definitely too much. So when I was a kid, I had a few LJNs because I grew up in that era. But I didn't have too many. Like I only like really truly remember having Hogan and Hillbilly Jim. They came in a 2-pack. And I have a few, like, and then as I got older, I started picking them up. As far as the Hasbros go, I didn't get too many I don't know why I didn't. I honestly don't know what on in my child mind then, but I remember going to Toys R Us and getting Macho King and Ultimate Warrior, the Warrior in the white trunks. Right. And they had a free poster, which I still have. I have the Ultimate Warrior poster. I wanted Hogan. Hogan was my favorite at the time, but Warrior was a very close second, so I was more than okay with having that. My dad took me to Toys R Us in Douglaston, New York, in Queens, and I was pumped to get those figures. But I had a couple, like, Gloob WCW guys, too. But Jakks is what really kicked it off for me, because when I saw the Bone Crunching series, I was like, I don't want to get into more stuff, because at the time I collected so many of the Toy Biz Marvel figures.
Right.
I had a lot of G.I. Joes. I had so much stuff, but I was like, oh crap! There's a Bret Hart, who is my favorite wrestler of all time. So I saw this Bret Hart figure, and then I saw this Goldust and Shawn Michaels and Warrior and Vader, Diesel, all this stuff, and it's like, oh, and I held off, like, for Series 1. I didn't, like, and then Series 2 came out, and I was like, oh, I'm done. I gotta get these. and that was it. And then my collection used to be like, I used to get, like, anything almost. And then sometimes I would get guys that looked like other guys. Like, for instance, sorry, this is very random, but, like, when they made APA Bradshaw from Bone Crunching Action, I would use his Justin Hawk Bradshaw figure as Barry Windham, because he looked like Barry Windham.
So similar, yeah.
Right. So I could still use both figures. And then when I kind of stopped with Bone Crunching, then I started buying in box, and then I would keep them in box. So then I would get the classic superstars, deluxe classics, all that stuff. And I started buying, like, all of them. And then I was like, my cousin Tommy was like, you should just get one of everybody. So, like, one Hogan, one Miz, one Ziggler, one Morris, so that kind of helped streamline my collection. I didn't really exercise that idea, though, until they did Mattel. So, like, I have a whole lot of Jakks in box.
Oh boy.
And I have a whole lot of Mattel in box too, but luckily it's very streamlined. It's first in the line, and I try to stick to those guns, but sometimes a Hogan is too cool not to have, and then I have to have every Bret Hart. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. So, thankfully, he's not produced as much as, like, a Cena or an AJ or a Roman. Otherwise, I'd be in really big trouble.
Oh my God, yeah, because you walk into a store. I know last year or a year and a half ago, the running joke was, it's like, how many AJ Styles can you find in one store?
Yeah, which I love, and I love and hate not finding something, because, like, I love ordering stuff on Ringside, but nothing beats going to the store and finding what you're looking for. So I love and hate going to Target, because Target's right across from the gym I work out at, and I'm like, oh, I didn't find anything, but I'm like, yes, I didn't find anything.
Oh my God, yeah, that's great. So what are you hunting for right now? Like, what are you looking forward to try and, like, get your hands on?
So basically the first of the line figures now. Like, so I just picked up a Gronk. I was pretty pumped about it, just because, like, how many figures are they ever going to produce of Gronk?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is probably it. Austin Theory, I'm looking for just because he's first in the line. Kushida, Candice LeRae. I missed out on those Amazon Takeover figures, because I really wanted the Johnny Gargano, because I love Wolverine, so I wanted that figure. But yeah, I mean, I'm just a sucker for that first time in the line. I see that, I'm like, I have to buy it. Tony Storm, that figure looks pretty awesome, so I definitely want that.
Definitely.
And she has a chase, doesn't she? It's like a chase and
I believe so, yeah.
So like, oh, and those chases kill me. Like I used to try to get all the chases, and then I'm like, you know what? Just the chases the first time in the line. That's it. Like again, trying to streamline, but
you're gonna keep changing your mind. Trust me.
I know. Oh yeah, always.
Oh my god! So with things opening up in the back now, and you said that you actually wrestled, to like a live crowd. Are there any upcoming matches that you have coming up that you want to promote?
Yeah. So May 22nd at PWF, it's going to be Jacksonville, North Carolina. So it's Premier Wrestling Federation. Actually, Steve Corino, former ECW alumni. He helped found that company. He's no longer associated with it, but his son actually still wrestles for the company, Colby Corino.
Okay.
So that is my next show that I know of on May 22nd. I might have something coming up before then, but right now that's a definitive date.
And if people wanted to see more of your work, where can they catch it?
So I try to put it on YouTube. Just look up No Comparison Joe Harrison or OMG IJH. That stands for Oh My God, it's Joe Harrison. So you can look it up there. I also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/OMGIJH. Instagram and Twitter are both OMGIJH. You can find me there. Merch, you could prowrestlingtees.com/OMGIJH. So try to be a little bit of everywhere.
Oh, that's great, man. So it was great chatting with you. I look forward to seeing more of your matches and definitely seeing more of your promos with Mom.
Hell yeah.
Give her my best. Hopefully the next time we'll get her on, get her opinion on a couple of things.
Right, absolutely. She'll still remember things, like she liked Marcus Alexander Buff Bagwell, and Too Cold Scorpio, and like how many 70 are reminiscing about Too Cold Scorpio, you know what I mean? So she's definitely got some knowledge.
Oh my God, I definitely need to sit down and talk with her then.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, thank you for jumping on.
Thank you, Kenny. Have a great one.
You too.